So I'm still bored. Looking at my Vita, I thought, let's try some quality visual novels. Quality. Absolute quality. Now that didn't seem to work out, so instead, last week, Friday to be precise, I sat down to watch the Bleach Live Action adaptation. As I said, I'm still bored, I have nothing to do right now and just spent my time browsing through Netflix. Just to be clear, this isn't a review and not even so much a complaint about what's been done here, but just me running my mouth really. Obligatory Kamen Rider fanboy bonus points first. The one bonus point, as per usual, was a Kamen Rider actor, in this case Gentaro Sota Fukushi, portraying Ichigo. Alright, moving on. Bleach follows the events of the original quite closely, that is roughly the first 60 chapters or so, or the first 20 episodes, kind of. Not fully mind you, and it then also throws out some curveballs towards the end. Ichigo can see ghosts, Rukia shows up, Ichigo can see Rukia, Rukia gets beaten by Hollow trying to protect Ichigo, and then transfers her power over to Ichigo so that he can beat the Hollow. Up to this point, everything is pretty much in sync. What follows in the manga is a monster of the week type plot until Renji and Captain Kuchiki show up. It's at this point where things get weird. This being a movie, there are time constraints, and frankly I doubt anyone would want to sit through just random Hollows getting the chop, especially considering that the CG in this movie wasn't all that appealing to begin with. This of course also leaves no time for additional characters and character development. Chad and Orihime, for example, are just kind of there. They're hinted at to be a bit above average towards the end, but really, they're just there. Ishida is also just thrown onto the screen. Here, Quincy. A what? Quincy, they hunt Hollows. So, like Soul Reapers? No, but yes, oh no, better drop the conversation, it's fight time. I get that there are time constraints, but the script probably could have tried a bit harder to give these characters a real reason to be there. Kon, for instance, doesn't exist at all, and I get it. No time and apparently too low a budget for some decent CG. But given that the plot of this movie revolves around the Grand Fisher, the Hollow that's responsible for Ichigo's mother's death, it just felt weird not having Kon around in this specific scenario. Renji's and Byakuya's arrival is also a little different. They show up earlier than they do in the original, even making a deal with Ichigo that if he can take care of the Grand Fisher, that they would let Rukia off the hook. This was quite a strange scene. Doesn't that completely change Byakuya's character? Wasn't he someone simply going by the books and now he's just a malicious schemer? Whatever. Ichigo eventually beats Grand Fisher. Renji shows up and stabs Ishida. Yeah, just like in the original, Ishida gets taken out quite fast. Although you didn't really see it directly in the anime as Ishida was just on the ground bleeding, same difference. Now Ichigo has to fight Renji. Byakuya intervenes, takes out Ichigo, and then Rukia takes her powers back and is on her merry way to Soul Society with Byakuya and Renji, seemingly without any repercussions for her, and then Ichigo loses his memory. He doesn't even have any recollection of interactions with Ishida, and that's where the movie ends. Apart from the few montages between Ichigo and Rukia training, which included some slight humor, nothing was really interesting. The CG, looking as bad as it did, made most fight scenes look quite shoddy, so the action sequences aren't a saving grace either. The ending is the weirdest part. All in all, it's basically a happy ending. If the story progression would have followed the source material, the movie would have essentially been forced to end on a cliffhanger. So I get why it was done, as much as it bugs me. It's not hard to rectify this either if they were to make a sequel, as it only seems as Rukia's not getting punished. Whatever happened after she walked past the door, we don't know. It might just follow the manga's plotline anyway. So the biggest problem isn't the plot or how closely the source material has been followed, but really that the whole movie was just boring. For what the script provided, I think Fukushi and Sugisaki, playing Ichigo and Rukia respectively, did a good job though. They've previously worked together on Blade of the Immortal and did really well in that too, a movie that was actually really fun to watch, I might add. So I would definitely blame the writing in this case and not those two actors. Bleach's live action adaptation isn't as bad as FMA's, but it's also nowhere near as good as JoJo's. I think it's watchable, but you should definitely temper your expectations before you go into it, and maybe don't watch it if you're already tired. You might fall asleep before you make it halfway through. That's all I have to say on this. I told you, it's not a review, but just me running my mouth. I'll see you next time.